Okay, so yes, Dr. Afshari has joined.
Okay, I don't know, for some reason, yeah, I was forced to out.
We were all thrown out. I don't know why.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
So that's technical problems, unfortunately. So very sorry for that.
Yeah, no, it's typical in this difficult time.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I forgot your question. Could you repeat your question?
So how Iran's perspective in the 1990s shifted?
Okay, yes,
whether it shifted or not.
Yeah. As I explained before, yeah, there is a shift, but not a big shift. Yeah, and now there is a relatively higher alienation toward Azerbaijan. We didn't see in past even Iran accept and support the UN resolution, but they don't do anything in practice, and they want to keep themselves out of the conflict between the Armenia and Azerbaijan. Now they publicly said, the administration and also the people who close to the Ayatollah Khamenei, that Karabakh belongs to the Azerbaijan, and the Armenian forces or the Christian forces should leave. Christian Armenian forces should leave Karabakh immediately, and they support the Azerbaijan standing or the condition for a long-term peace. And let me to correct one of my previous statements, that when I talk about the nationalists, just a part of that nationalists support Armenia, and some part of them also support the peace, and they don't want to get involved or side with each part of conflict.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And which factors actually determine Iran's approach? I mean, you actually mentioned it briefly. Do you think this is religion or ethnically driven? What are the main factors?
I think it's both of that, the religious, ethnicity, and also the geopolitical factors as well, that Iran wants to have some leverage those, and especially in conflict with Turkey. So they want to have some influence there, and make a balance and counterpart toward Turkey. And also they want to make sure that no Syrian rebel opposition or any some insurgent groups in the border of Iran stay for long term there is also very important, that cause them more on that region. So those cause that, and also the some standing of the Iranian Turks, because if Iranian government doesn't consider the demand, so they fear that increase the tension between the Turks, ethnic minorities inside Iran, and the Iranian government. So both of those factors, I think, that we see that shift.
Mm-hmm. And what might be the consequences if Azerbaijan actually takes Karabakh? What are the consequences for Iran? Or what could be the consequences?
It depends what happens after that. It depends how the Azerbaijan deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran. If they consider their concerns or not, they respect to their concerns or not, how they do deal with the separatists, Azeri separatists, for example, is very important, first of all, for Iran. No long-term standing of any insurgent groups in the near to Iranian borders. How they create balance between the US, Israel, and Iran. Also, another fear of the Iranian government is that sometimes Israeli or US use Azerbaijan territory against Iran is another concern. So I think itself, capturing of Karabakh or returning of Karabakh to Azerbaijan itself has, Iranian government has no problem with that. So it somehow they say welcome to that. So they claim that it's a victory for Islamic world, and they try to participate them as a victory as well, that celebrate that in the bigger picture of the a victory for Islamic world. And especially because the Azerbaijan also the Shia fellow as well. So it's another factor. But they wait and see what Azerbaijan do after that. And also what's going to be the reaction of Russia. Reaction of Russia is another concern for the Iranian policy. So right now, Iran in foreign policy is not much self-dependent. So it's rely on what Russia is standing and also China and what's the tension between the West and East in the international order. So all of factors, I think, influence on that. But as also, it is important that what's going to be the role of Iran in mediation efforts right now. How Azerbaijan or Armenia accept Iranian solution, suggested solution or not. So I think, but we have to consider all of this. But personally, I don't have much room for Iranian government involvement. And I think somehow the record of the failed historical attempts has potential to repeat this time as well. I think right now Turkey and Russia, this in this collective manner and approach are more influential than Iran in this conflict.
Mm-hmm. And the U.S. seems to be indifferent to the conflict at the moment. I mean, in the past, it was more somehow interested and tried to play a role. At the moment, I think it was over the last 2 days or so that they made a statement related to the crisis. But in general, we can say that they are not really interested and not trying to mediate between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Do you think this will also have an effect on the approach of Iran and Iran as the mediator in the region? That the U.S. is not actually within the region or not interested in the region?
First of all, from the strategic point of view, the U.S. is interested to make some balance between those countries. But of course, the U.S. supported more Azerbaijan, sided with Azerbaijan because Armenia is under influence of Russia. But the current prime minister in Armenia, because he claimed that he was a product out of the Velvet Revolution in Armenia, and at least in words, he says something toward democracy that created some potential capacity for entering of U.S. in Armenia as well. So I think the current USA policymakers consider those, but I don't think so that the Iran role has much role in the what the U.S. government reluctancy to involve actively in this conflict. And also, I think the most important factor is that the Trump policy. Trump policy, they're not interested to enter to any conflict, regional conflict, except that it has a very, let's say that it's the tangible economic gain. Otherwise, U.S. has no interest, but they officially they support the OSCE efforts, and let's see. But I don't think so that help much. And at the end, it seems that the regional mediation has more chance for success than Europe or potentially by USA.
Mm-hmm. And finally, I mean, this is not really related to the perspective of Iran, maybe, but I would like to hear what your idea is on the matter. I mean, Azerbaijan seems to have the upper hand at the moment. That's what it's claimed or discussed at the moment because of its military situation, because of its higher income due to revenues from gas and oil, and also because of its support from countries like Turkey and many other countries, and because of the not involvement of the U.S. in a way. Do you agree with that?
I agree with this assessment that the all inside and outside factors and agenda supports that the Azerbaijan is in upper hand, and I think at least they can resend or gain back some lost territories, and Azerbaijan is in the better situation in terms of economy and security than Armenia. So, and even they cannot forceful the UN resolution in future, but I think the influence of Azerbaijan in future of Karabakh could be much more than past, but with the current situation. But another thing is that maybe if Joe Biden is elected in the next US election, was we are away 10 days from that, maybe there's going to be some shift in US policy, because Democrats they are more interested to do something against Russia, and also that helps Azerbaijan as well, because if the Armenia stays in the orbit of influence of Russia, so that factor also plays in favor of Azerbaijan.
Okay, thank you. Now I would like to pass the word to our listeners. If you have a question, please ask now. So I will wait a few seconds to wait to see if anybody has a question. No? Or is at the beginning everyone is shy to ask questions?
Yes, I know. The first question is difficult, but the other
first question is usually difficult.
The next,
yeah,
it's most critical.
Yeah, definitely. Is this, I mean, while people think maybe about the questions, is this an agenda in the US?
In election, yes, not in the debate, but there is one agenda, and Joe Biden officially criticized Donald Trump because of the lack of involvement in the Azerbaijan and Armenia tension. And Joe Biden, he said that if I were president, I want both of Turkey and Islamic Republic of Iran to do not intervene in Karabakh conflict.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the position of Azerbaijan is also very interesting in the region. I mean, it has close relations with Russia, but it's, I mean, if there's a problem like the Karabakh conflict, then it takes a different position, maybe because of these political issues too. It seems also very interesting.
No, I agree. That's some political issue that comes to differentiate between those. And also Russia, I think one of the things that also helps the upper hand of Azerbaijan, for example, now Turkey 100% is behind of Azerbaijan. Iran, let's say 60% in the back of Azerbaijan, 40% to, in my personal assessment. Maybe it's not true. 40% toward Armenia, but Russia is not 100% back of Armenia. So the power balance in the regional level and in the global level is in the favor of Azerbaijan as well. In reality.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can say, I think, that in the 90s, Turkey also backed Azerbaijan. 100%, but the role of Turkey and the role of Azerbaijan also changed in the meantime.
Much. Turkey in that time that was not very active in the Caucasus or the Middle Asia, so they just support in political way. But right now, Turkey followed active involvement, engagement in those areas. And the Azerbaijan, in my opinion, is more powerful than 2 decades ago.
Okay. So I think we have no further questions, and I have no other questions. Many thanks. We were very pleased to have you here.
Well, thank you so much for your invitation. I'm glad to find opportunity to share my idea. And I hope that because, first of all, I'm against any sort of war, except some very special cases in terms of the just war. But I hope that we see the permanent ceasefire, a sustainable ceasefire between those, and find a solution in a mutual compromise. And I respect to my Azerbaijani Azeri brothers, sisters. I culturally and historically, I'm tying to them, and also for the Armenian, because we have an Armenian or Assyrian community inside Iran, and we have had relationship toward history. And so I'm against any violence, especially the killing of the non-military people. The civil people is very important that the both of the conflict avoid to do that, and hopefully we see soon peace, ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, and find a sustainable solution at the end. So because beside that, I'm Iranian or Turkish or Azeri or Armenian, we are human, and we have to find a civilized manner to live beside each other, and let other people live.
Yeah, absolutely. Many thanks. It's been a pleasure to have you and to host you. And I wish everyone a good evening. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish success for your next activities and next webinars. And I hope that everyone in this very difficult time, everyone's and his or her family be healthy and safe.
Thank you. Especially during the pandemic, inshallah. Yes.
Yeah. Just during the pandemic, the US is one of the worst in the world. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. Okay. Hopefully see you soon again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Ma salama. Bye.
Ma salam. Goodbye.
Goodbye.